The questions far outweighed the answers for Lou Holtz and his Fighting Irish as Notre Dame looked to the 1991 season on the gridiron. Despite some impressive youthful talent, how could the Irish possibly survive the departure of 10 starters from a team that had lost but 4 games over the last 3 seasons combined? Where would replacements come for lost consensus All-Americans on defense like Chris Zorich, Michael Stonebreaker, and Todd Light? Who would contribute the game-breaking excitement gone with the departure of Rakib Ismail? Could Captain Rodney Culver and his mates possibly maintain the high-pitched success pace perfected by their predecessors? Could the Irish find a way to deal with another suicide-like schedule that featured 7 bowl teams from 1990 and 5 teams that ended up in the Associated Press top 20? Those were the questions posed by Notre Dame's head coach as he poised himself for a 6th season under the Golden Dome. Culver and his teammates would have to provide the answers. With Indiana traveling north to Notre Dame Stadium for its first meeting with Notre Dame in 35 years, the Irish found themselves immersed in an emotional cauldron to open the '91 campaign. The Hoosiers gave notice early that they planned to provide Lou Holtz's team with all it could handle. The luck of the Irish appeared to have switched sidelines on Indiana's first possession when a Trent Green pass bounced off the pads of senior safety Greg Davis and into Hoosier hands for an 18-yard gain. Notre Dame went on to intercept 4 passes during the afternoon, but that number ever so easily could have been 5. Phil Mallory had a blue-chip anchor for his offense in All-American Vaughn Dunbar. And the senior tailback didn't disappoint Hoosier fans on his way to a game-high 161 yards. Though the eyes of the Irish defense were firmly focused on him, Dunbar handled the ball 5 times on the opening drive alone as Indiana marched to an early field goal for a 3-0 lead. The second Hoosier possession provided Irish cheerleaders a bit more to shout about.
Trent Green, the quarterback. Play action fake to Dunbar. Looking to the right. Pass the ball near side. It is picked off. Down the sideline. Did he kick the nose? At the 25. Breaks the tackle at the 20. He'll go all the way. Touchdown, Notre Dame.
The play by the Irish junior linebacker started the ignition for a Notre Dame offense that the Hoosiers couldn't slow down the rest of the afternoon. While Rodney Culver, Tony Brooks, and Jerome Bettis combined for 249 rushing yards, the Irish spread their 251 passing yards among 8 receivers. Rick Meyer showed midseason form in running the option. He pitched the pigskin once to Culver for the first of 3 second-period scores that kept the Irish coach and his players feeling chipper. And he kept it himself on a 49-yard sprint that gave Notre Dame the lead for good. Meyer came right back to locate senior split end Tony Smith for a topsy-turvy 18-yard gain. Senior tailback Tony Brooks skirted left end for 13 yards on the next play, and Notre Dame had a 28-17 halftime advantage. Dunbar did everything he could to keep the Hoosiers within striking distance, but he and his teammates simply couldn't match Notre Dame's 578 yards of offensive firepower. Maybe the most memorable play of Notre Dame's 49-27 victory came on junior tight end Irv Smith's rumble to the end zone. It ranked as one of the more amazing sights in the 63-year history of the stadium. All in all, the Irish debut was anything but a disappointment, but it left plenty of room for improvement.
I think that we're going to have to make tremendous improvement. What we have on the horizon is going to necessitate tremendous improvement. I don't think you can evaluate a football team on one game.
Quick on the heels of its season-opening success, Notre Dame took to the road to confront fourth-rated Michigan. Fans, players, and coaches of both teams knew it wouldn't be easy for the Irish to extend their four-game series win streak. Elvis Gerbach enjoyed a particularly potent day for the Wolverines. The Rick Meyer-Tony Smith connection paid dividends for the Irish as well. Notre Dame's option abilities continue to keep the Michigan defense honest. As Lou Holtz and Gary Moeller matched wits on the sidelines, the Irish came up with their biggest play of the day.
Meyer pumping, looking, throwing the short pass. Derek Brown at the 40, 45, wide open up the 50, at the 45, could go all the way, down to the 30. One tackler misses, another one grabs him from behind at the 25-yard line. It is Eric Anderson, the linebacker, who makes the touchdown-saving tackle.
Sophomore tailback Willie Clark worked hard to find running room. Then the Meyer to Smith combo clicked again for 14 yards. Notre Dame came right back with the middle screen to junior flanker Lake Dawson. And sophomore fullback Jerome Bettis found pay dirt to make it 17-7 Michigan. The Irish rebounded within striking distance on a 35-yard bullet to Tony Smith. Notre Dame's defense held firm, throwing a fourth down roadblock at Ricky Powers late in the third quarter. But on yet another fourth down play for the Wolverines, it was Gerbach and Desmond Howard who hooked up for a dramatic reception to cement the 24-14 decision for the Wolverines. The Irish knew they had been beaten by a perfect performance from a great team.
Michigan played a great football game, deserved to win. We congratulate them. They didn't have a turnover. They didn't miss an assignment. Their backs ran well. They threw the ball. They caught the ball exceptionally well. They only had 15 yards in penalties totally. So they played an outstanding football game.
The Irish had little time to lick their wounds, though, with an always troublesome Michigan State team coming to town and smarting from its own opening day defeat against Central Michigan. Little did George Perles know then what an amazingly productive day it would be for Rick Meyer and Notre Dame's offense. The Irish ground attack proved absolutely dominating, and Jerome Bettis set the tone early for Notre Dame's excellence in that area. Meyer and his receivers turned out to be no less effective, as this 32-yard connection with Lake Dawson exhibited. 13 different backs got into the ground-gaining act for the Irish. Brothers Tony and Reggie Brooks both scored touchdowns. The first time that feat had been accomplished at Notre Dame in 44 years. The Irish rolled up 433 rushing yards, and the 49 points amassed by Notre Dame marked the most ever permitted by a George Perles team. When the Irish went to the air, they found veteran Tony Smith. When they traveled overland, they unleashed scatback Willie Clark. Once Meyer zeroed in on Smith for this 29-yard scoring play and a 14-3 advantage, Notre Dame never looked back. It was a troubling afternoon on the Spartan sideline, but smiles reigned supreme on the Irish bench. All-star tight end Derek Brown got behind the Michigan State secondary for a 55-yard gain that marked the longest of his career. Meyer threw only 16 times, but his 11 completions for 208 yards and 3 touchdowns created plenty of opportunities for celebration. Former Spartan star Bubba Smith had some pointers for his old team. The lone bright spot for Michigan State came on a long completion to Courtney Hawkins. But that turned out to be one of the few chances for Michigan State cheering. From their 21-10 halftime lead, the Irish put together a near flawless third period by penciling 21 points and 192 rushing yards into the books in that 15-minute period alone. The Notre Dame defense set the tone as an interception by Greg Davis thwarted the Spartans' first second-half possession and produced further frustration for the team in green and white. That sent the dominant Irish offense back to work. Rick Meyer's career-high third touchdown pass of the day, this one to tight end Irv Smith, made it 28-10. In all, 7 different receivers caught passes from Irish quarterbacks. An onside kick ended up in the hands of Notre Dame cornerback Rod Smith. Three plays later, Tony Brooks scored to up the margin to 35-10. .650 total yards by the Irish, the most ever given up by a Michigan State team, prompted a satisfied response from Lou Holtz and kept Notre Dame's push-up per point leprechaun busy. Even when the visitors got close to the end zone, they were haunted by missed opportunities. The Irish did their share to contribute to the Spartan hardships, with sophomore cornerback Tom Carter's end zone interception ending Michigan State's best second-half chance. The 49-10 Irish triumph answered at least one question for Notre Dame's head coach.
It wasn't any different in practice. Things weren't going well for us. It's just a time for us to find out whether we're going to be contenders or pretenders. And I didn't have any doubt about how our team would respond. What I did not know was whether we'd be good enough to win or not.
The thought of 8th-ranked Notre Dame coming to town was enough to prompt headaches for Jim Coletto and his Purdue team. But Lou Holtz and Rick Meyer had one more surprise even the Boilermakers couldn't have anticipated. With Meyer limited in practice by a rib cartilage injury, rookie Paul Fela earned the start in only the 4th game of his young career. The freshman from Pennsylvania ran the keeper for a 12-yard gain on his first play from scrimmage. He ran the offense flawlessly, and he hit Lake Dawson on his lone pass attempt. But the Irish drive stalled, and Purdue's passing game went into operation. Culminating a 14-play, 79-yard drive Corey Rogers gave the home team a short-lived 7-0 lead in the second period. Those Purdue points were all it took to jumpstart the Irish. Once Meyer finally hit the field, he picked up right where he'd left off against Michigan State. If any question remained about his physical condition, the junior quarterback erased it with an exclamation mark on a 29-yard touchdown scamper that tied the score. Next came a series of deadly Purdue errors. After sophomore tackle Bryant Young's recovery, the Irish needed 4 plays to take the lead for good on a 6-yard Jerome Bettis run. One possession later, Young pounced on another Boiler bobble. This time, it took 1 play for Meyer to throw 5 yards to Derek Brown. While Devon McDonald and his defensive mates kept up the pressure, the Irish offense continued apace. The relentless punishment inflicted by Tony Brooks and Jerome Bettis pounded more lumps on the Purdue defense. Bettis' 2-yard scoring run upped the lead to 28-7 to finish a 44-yard march. And the Irish weren't finished yet. Purdue's Eric Hunter lost the handle on the football again. And Notre Dame needed 5 plays before Meyer lofted another toss to Brown in the end zone. After Hunter again lost the confrontation with the Irish defense, Brooks would set sail on a 57-yard jaunt that ranked as his longest of the season. That put the icing on Notre Dame's 45-20 triumph and gave the Irish 16 wins in their last 17 games against Big Ten opponents. Notre Dame's trek to Stanford moves center stage after the Cardinal upended defending national champion Colorado the previous week. That didn't make it any easier for the Irish to stop all-purpose speedster Glenn Milburn and a diversified Stanford attack. Once Notre Dame did accomplish that feat, it embarked on an awfully impressive first half. Running the ball with reckless abandon and throwing it with equal effectiveness, Notre Dame got on the board quickly when Lake Dawson zipped through the middle of the Cardinal defense.
Dawson, number 87 for the TD. 27-yard pass play from Meyer to Dawson.
After a Stanford fumble and a Demetrius Dubose recovery, the Irish were in business again. Senior tailback Rodney Culver ripped off 27 yards with a Derek Brown block opening a key hole. Then Jerome Bettis did the rest to make it 14-0. Next, the Irish defense applied the clamps on 4th down. That prompted a 28-yard excursion by Notre Dame's sophomore fullback. He followed that up with a scoring plunge for a 21-0 advantage, but the Irish were far from finished. Tramping 84 yards downfield, all of them on the ground, Bettis and Brooks continued to shred the Cardinal front line. This time it was Meyer who earned the 6 points to continue a near perfect start for the visitors. Stanford finally got its offense in gear. But even a Tommy Vardell scoring run wasn't nearly enough, considering Brooks and Bettis each had 100 rushing yards of their own by intermission. The Cardinal did its best to create some second-half drama. Jason Columbus' 1-yard sneak cut the margin to 28-14. But Notre Dame's ground forces continue to eat away at the Stanford defense. Bettis' screen pass from Meyer regained the 3-touchdown lead for the Irish. An interception by Rod Smith prompted a little dipsy-doodle on the part of Notre Dame.
Culver in at fullback. Here's the toss. A little bit of a razzle-dazzle. Tony Brooks going to throw the ball to Rick Meyer at the 10, down to the 5. He's in for a touchdown. We're going to say he went out of bounds at the 1-yard line.
Bettis' 4th touchdown of the evening gave Lou Holtz's team an insurmountable cushion in the 42-26 win. Even Notre Dame's head coach had to be impressed with the Irish intensity to start the game.
Our football team played hard, and I don't think I've ever seen a football team come off as well on offense, and it really disappoints me because on Thursday I wasn't real pleased with the offense, and I let them know and threw them off the field and everything else. Now, the bad news is they're going to say, well, Coach, we don't have practice real hard. We just got to be ready on game day. But they're a beautiful group. They love one another. I would just wish that you could be our teammates and the feeling that they have for one another. We're not a great football team. We never pretended to be. We are getting better.
A Notre Dame Stadium appearance by 12th-ranked and unbeaten Pittsburgh prompted plenty of strategy on the respective sidelines. But it was the Irish kicking teams that made the difference early. Notre Dame created its first break when Irv Smith recovered a fumbled punt late in the first period to set up its first points. Rodney Culver and Jerome Bettis did the dirty work for the Irish for the 7-0 edge. Then junior tailback Reggie Brooks broke clear and blocked a Panther punt with his face mask, recovering it cleanly in the end zone for a 14-0 advantage. It marked the first time Notre Dame had blocked a punt for a score since the 1979 Cotton Bowl against Houston. The Irish kept up the pressure to start the second half, with Rick Meyer displaying his scrambling ability before finding Derek Brown on a critical third down conversion. Bettis pushed Notre Dame down close before Meyer withstood a huge Panther pass rush to wing a touchdown pass to Irv Smith. For Smith, it marked his 4th reception of the season and his 3rd for a touchdown. This one good for a 21-0 Irish advantage. Notre Dame's defense got into the act, limiting a potent Pitt running game to just 59 yards. Whether it was Pete Bursich using his head or Eric Jones making a behind-the-line tackle on 3rd down, the stop troops made their mark. Meyer took things into his own hands near the goal line to make the score 28-0, earning a pat on the helmet from the head coach. Pitt managed to avoid the shutout on a 49-yard pass play midway through the final period. But Notre Dame's ground game continued unabated, with the hard-charging Bettis on his way to 125 yards and a pair of touchdowns. The Irish offensive line helped pave the way for 327 more rushing yards and so dominated the contest that NBC named guards Mirko Jerkovic and Aaron Taylor its MVPs. For Meyer, Bettis, and the Irish, the 42-7 triumph kept them in the hunt for yet another week. The challenge for the Irish in the mountains of Colorado Springs was to deal with the seldom-seen wishbone offense run by Fisher DeBerry. And Air Force quarterback Rob Perez evolved as the key figure in the triple option attack perfected by the Falcons. Notre Dame's ability to defend wasn't helped by some costly misfortune.
Here's the fake, and all of a sudden, Troy Ridgely and company got in there, but there's an Irish player shaken up down at the 30-yard line. And it appears to be Eric Jones.
Jones' broken ankle required season-ending surgery, and an early Air Force field goal only added to the Irish difficulties. The visitors responded with a running game of their own as Tony Brooks and Rodney Culver rambled for some of their 82 individual yards. Even Rick Meyer proved he could cause headaches for the Falcons with his physical play. Fullback Jerome Bettis hauled in a nifty screen pass from Meyer, and his 6-yard scoring play gave the Irish a lead they would never relinquish. With Jones and Bryant Young both down with ankle fractures, Notre Dame's neophyte defense put together some new combinations. Senior Devon McDonald found himself side by side with freshmen like Jermaine Holden, as Lou Holtz had to hope his even younger defense would grow up in a hurry. The momentum-grabbing play of the day came midway through the second period, when Meyer wound up and fired to a wide-open Tony Smith for 83 yards on the 5th longest passing play in Irish history. Moments later, veteran tackle Troy Ridgely both forced and recovered an Air Force fumble. That set up another Smith catch. It was followed by a Bettis run that made it 21-6 for the visitors and put the pressure solely on the shoulders of the Falcons. Bettis' third score of the evening covered 19 yards and capped a 55-yard fourth period march that completed the scoring in the 28-15 Irish win. Notre Dame's defense put the heat on Perez the rest of the way. But it often took a total team effort to corral the pesky Falcon signal caller. Attempting to maintain possession late in the game, the Irish resorted to a bit of razzle-dazzle of their own.
Low snap, and Patrick's going to run. Gets to the 30, gets to the 35, got the first down at the 40, and runs out of bounds at the 41-yard line.
That play guaranteed Notre Dame's 5th straight win, but it still didn't bring a smile to the face of Lou Holtz, who couldn't look past the frustrating injuries to his 2 starters on the defensive line.
I don't ever recall being as down or depressed after a football victory than we were over that one. And I felt our football team was really coming along. Now I just don't know. I got to be honest with you, I don't know. Where do we go from here?
The 63rd renewal between Notre Dame and Southern Cal.
The opener of a 3-game Irish homestand had come to be known by its rather simple description. It's called The Game, Notre Dame versus USC. In a series that has seen dozens of championships clinched, Heisman winners anointed, and All-Americans blossom, an Irish-Trojan clash ranks as the highlight of any season. 1991 would be no different. The challenge for Notre Dame's defense was to deal with the multiple talents of USC sophomore quarterback Reggie Perry. It was a mission the Irish accomplished with some measure of success early. Jerome Bettis gave early indications of his feel for the rivalry. And the sophomore fullback bounced outside for 53 yards and a quick Notre Dame advantage. Whether throwing or running, Perry had to deal with a physical Irish secondary. Notre Dame's running backs played no less physically. Tony Brooks dived for the flag, made it 14-0 for the Irish as the first half closed. To USC's credit, the Trojans made some halftime adjustments that produced noteworthy results. A dormant USC running game suddenly came to life. Despite blanket coverage by the Irish, Perry found a way to get the ball in the hands of flanker Larry Wallace. When Deion Strother cut back on a 29-yard scoring play, the Irish found their advantage threatened. A USC fumble set up Notre Dame's next key play.
From the 22, rolling out to the left. Here's Meyer, going to throw long. Intended for Lake Dawson. He got the ball. Lake Dawson makes a diving catch down at the 28-yard line. I didn't think he was going to make it for a moment, Tom. I thought it might be too long, and once his body hit the turf, he wouldn't make the catch. There are officials talking it over right now.
Well, the ball might have hit the ground, but I say this, Tony, if it's ruled a catch, it's got to be one of the greatest catches I've ever seen.
Even a last-ditch Trojan touchdown didn't prove to be enough. But it set up a dramatic onside kick attempt with a minute left that kept the outcome in doubt. When it finally fell into Irish hands, the Notre Dame win was clinched. Amazingly, the 24-20 Irish victory counted as Notre Dame's 9th straight in the series, in a rivalry that has seen more than its share of dramatic finishes. As the season passed its midpoint, the Irish had begun to make their mark.
I saw you out there doing a little thing. Again, dog.
Notre Dame's homecoming day dawned icy cold with 35-mile-per-hour winds. And a grateful George Chomp thought he had the perfect game plan. He put 8 Navy players up on the line and gambled that the weather would eliminate the threat of the pass. His lone mistake was not consulting Notre Dame's quarterback. With the middle defense stacked against the run, Rick Meyer threw early, often, and effectively. After 2 crucial completions to Tony Smith, Meyer found Derek Brown all alone for a 7-0 lead. The Irish defense kept the Naval Academy bottled up. And that turned Meyer loose again. Whether it was Smith, Brown, or junior flanker Ray Griggs, Meyer had no problem isolating his receivers in single coverage situations. He made effective use of that defensive strategy on his way to a career-high 303 aerial yards. When Jerome Bettis bounced in from the 9 with a screen pass, the Irish led 17-0 at the half, and Meyer already had 208 yards in the air. The Irish defense did the job on 4th down after Navy had reached the Notre Dame 31. That set up a spectacular reception by Lake Dawson. Two plays later, Tony Smith grabbed a 13-yarder for a 24-0 advantage.
Touchdown Irish.
Well, he had a perfect call on because Navy did have a blitz on. Everybody came in.
17 out of 23, 303 yards. I believe this is Rick Meyer's first 300-yard game.
Despite the gusts, the Irish continued to throw, and throw successfully. They did it enough and well enough to eventually set up the running game. Bettis' burst made it 31-0 for the blue and gold. The longest play of the day was turned in by Reggie Brooks, who zipped in front of the Notre Dame sideline for 65 yards with 5 minutes left in the contest. The officials ruled him out on the 3. So Reggie required one more attempt to close the books on the scoring. When sophomore LaShane Sadler intercepted with 30 seconds left, it guaranteed the first Notre Dame shutout in 4 years. The 38-0 margin effectively set up a pair of major confrontations the following 2 weeks with Tennessee and Penn State.
You know, here we are in the 10th game of the year, and we understand that we got a lot of problems. You love to go into games like this. Next couple of weeks, these are big games. Why are they big games? Because you took care of some games that you should have taken care of. But when you go into a game like this, you like to go into it, boy, really, we really want to go show something instead of, well, we hope it's, you know, it's like going up in an airplane and hoping the rubber band doesn't break. It's that type of atmosphere, and yet at the same time, there's an air of excitement on it.
The excitement of the final home game brought a packed house to the traditional Friday night pep rally. The emotion of the Irish veterans couldn't be denied. For the 4th straight year, Notre Dame came into its 10th game of the season with its national championship hopes intact. That possibility loomed large as the Irish seniors took on twice-beaten Tennessee in their final appearance in Notre Dame Stadium. It promised to be an afternoon to remember.
Right now.
Come on.
To the house. To the house. To the house. To the house on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Senior Tony Brooks sent an early message to the 12th ranked Volunteers. On his way to a 126-yard day, his 12-yard touchdown run gave the home team a quick edge. 30 seconds later, the defense added to that lead.
Slot left, Wide out right, play action fake again. Kelly back, looking, fires the pass near side. It's picked off 25, 30. It is Carter to the 40, down the sideline. He's going the distance, down to the 30, the 20, the 10, 5. Touchdown, Notre Dame. Tommy Carter picking off Andy Kelly's pass and going down the right sideline for a score to make it 13-0 Irish.
Tennessee's rushing game encountered major roadblocks in the first half. The Volunteers forged on, but found Irish pitfalls along every path. Taking over at their own 6, Notre Dame connected with Derek Brown for 20 yards on a play-action fake. Brooks contributed 15 of his own. Then it was Rick Meyer who knifed into the end zone. The Irish led 21-0, and the first period clock had yet to expire. The Irish kept up the assault behind Meyer and Brooks. Jerome Bettis' 3-yard run made it 31-7 for Notre Dame with 3 minutes left in the half. But with the Irish on the verge of adding to that margin, Tennessee made a play that put its team emotionally back into the contest. Still, Notre Dame's 31-14 edge at the break left Lou Holtz's troops firmly in control. The Volunteer fans kept the faith as the second half began, with the Irish defense doggedly in pursuit. But a relentless Tennessee rally put the visitors on top by a point with 4 minutes remaining, leaving Meyer and his mates one final shot. The Irish signal caller made timely use of the option, driving Notre Dame 66 yards into striking distance for the win. With regular kicker Craig Hendrick on the sidelines with a knee injury, the task fell to sophomore walk-on Rob Leonard with just 4 ticks remaining on the clock. But Leonard's 27-yard attempt pushed barely right, and Johnny Majors and the Volunteers escaped with a 35-34 victory. It was a contest Jerome Bettis and his teammates felt they had in their grasp, but there was no time for tears for the Irish.
What I'm concerned about is whether we're good enough at Penn State. I think we've got to be able to bury the Tennessee situation, but you don't have the burial immediately either. You know, sometimes some things only time will heal.
Notre Dame's final series trip to Penn State provided as big a challenge as the Irish had confronted all year. Could they respond against a Nittany Lion team playing as well as anyone in the country? After Penn State roared to a 21-0 lead, Jerome Bettis finally got the Notre Dame attack in gear. His record 18th score of the season cut the margin to a pair of touchdowns. The defense behind emotional leader Demetrius Dubose held the Lions in check. And the Irish embarked on their final offensive opportunity of the half. Tony Brooks headed up the middle for 12 to start the possession. Rick Meyer kept for another dozen to the Penn State 41. His throw to Tony Smith gave the Irish a first down at the 11 with a minute still remaining. But Notre Dame missed out on its eventual fourth down chance to slim the lead to a single score. And the Irish boss and his quarterback pondered what might have been. The Irish continued to fight gamely behind the most passing attempts of Meyer's career. But a knee injury to Dubose didn't help. Even a late touchdown pass to William Pollard could only leave the final tally at 35-13 for Penn State. A second straight loss definitely put any championship hopes on hold and left Notre Dame's head coach feeling philosophical.
This football year has been crazy. You try to keep everything together. You lose this guy, you lose that guy. You have no complaints. You have absolutely no excuses. And you don't want any here at the University of Notre Dame.
After a week off, Notre Dame journeyed cross-continent for the regular season finale in the sunshine of Hawaii. For the Irish, it provided one final piece of preparation for their January 1st appearance in the Sugar Bowl. The Rainbows proved to be far more than simply a tune-up. Tom Carter's interceptions on consecutive defensive plays stopped Hawaii's first two possessions emphatically. Later in the first period, Troy Ridgely recovered a fumble to set up another touchdown. Meanwhile, Notre Dame's offense motored unchecked. On a night chock full of big plays, Tony Smith provided his share on his way to a career-high 9 receptions for 140 yards. And Tony Brooks scampered in for yet another Irish score. Captain Rodney Culver added to the attack as well with a 52-yard jaunt, setting up Notre Dame's third touchdown on his way to a career-high 114 yards. Bob Wagner tried to find the answers to stop the powerful Notre Dame offense. But Meyer connected with Culver for 47 yards. And when Tony Brooks advanced the final 9 yards, the Irish took a 28-10 advantage to intermission. The running of Culver and Brooks and the passing of Meyer enabled the Irish attack to roll smoothly most of the evening. But the Rainbows were making a comeback attempt when sophomore Clint Johnson burst 93 yards to give the Irish a seemingly insurmountable 42-20 lead.
Here's Elam with a kick. It is high. It'll come down, and Johnson says, I want it. The wedge forms. He takes it at the 7, 10, 15, gets to the 20, 25, 30. Here he goes all the way. 50, down to the 40, race to the goal line. They're not going to catch him. 20, 10, 5, touchdown. 92 yards, Clint Johnson.
Tony, I think I know where Reggie Brooks is sitting down. Clint Johnson returned the kickoff now.
That kind of reminds me of the one he ran back in spring practice.
Everybody said he had the ability. It's only the 7th time we've seen him this season.
But the Rainbows weren't saying aloha yet when Jerome Bettis notched Notre Dame's 6th rushing score of the game, a season high. And after recovering an onside kick, the Irish had a lead they would never lose in the 48-42 shootout. Notre Dame's 9th victory of the year enabled the Irish to set records for total offense yards and points in a single season. Lou Holtz's squad topped the 40-point mark for the 6th time, something no other team in Irish history had accomplished. As the Irish pondered their Sugar Bowl date with Southeastern Conference champion Florida, the legacy left by the Notre Dame seniors shone ever so brightly. It included a gaudy list of statistics unmatched by any other Irish class in the 150-year history of the university. 42 victories, the most in any four-year period at Notre Dame. 16 wins over top 25 teams, 11 of them against top 10 entries. A national championship in 1988, a record 23-game winning streak, 4 straight January 1st bowl appearances, and an amazing 21-3 record in Notre Dame Stadium. This was a group of players who never lost a football game until the 12th week of their sophomore seasons. And the Irish accomplished all that against a back-breaking schedule the NCAA rated the most difficult in the nation over the past 5 seasons. When the Fighting Irish standards sit sky high and the goals rank perpetually lofty, it's never easy to achieve success on such a consistent basis. But no class at Notre Dame did more to continue that tradition of excellence than the seniors who finished in 1991. They looked the questions that faced these 91 Irish squarely in the eye, and they answered them with an emphatic exclamation point.
Cheer for old Notre Dame, wake up the echoes cheering her name. Send the volley cheer on high, shake down the thunder, thunder from the thunder sky. Thunder, what though the odds be great or small, Notre Dame will win over all, while her loyal sons are marching onward to victory. For Notre Dame.
It isn't necessary to see a good tackle, you can hear it. From what I see here this afternoon, I think we're going to have a pretty good team.
The athletic department of the University of Notre Dame is proud to present its exclusive collection of sportswear and gift items, clothing and accessories of the highest quality that reflect Notre Dame's tradition of excellence. Call 1-800-345-5027 to receive a free catalog.